If you or someone you love is facing the question of where to live as you get older, you've probably already discovered that getting a straight answer on costs is surprisingly difficult. Every website wants to talk to you. Every community wants you to come for a tour. And nobody wants to just tell you what things cost. So that's what I'm going to do today. We're going to be covering first the main types of senior living. Then I'm going to walk you through the real cost ranges for the Seattle market. And then we're going to talk about adult family homes. And finally, I'll walk you through how most people are actually going forward to pay for this, because there's a specific conversation that happens between the home sale and the move-in that's worth understanding. So let's get into it. So before we talk about costs, let me give you a quick map of the options, because the terminology is used inconsistently and that causes a lot of confusion. There are essentially 5 categories of senior living. Independent living is for active, healthy, older adults who want community, amenities, and freedom from home maintenance. But typically they're not going to get help with daily tasks like putting on their shoes, going to the bathroom, that type of thing. Think of it as a hotel combined with an apartment complex. It's designed specifically for people 55 and up. Next is assisted living, which is for people who need some support with daily activities. This could be things like getting dressed, managing medications, bathing. You still have your own apartment, but a trained staff member is available to you around the clock to help you with specific, typically listed items. Third, memory care is a specialized form of assisted living designed specifically for people who have Alzheimer's or another form of dementia. And this has secured environments, specialized staff, and programming built around memory loss. Like you may have to enter a code with today's date on it, for example, to enter or exit the memory care wing of the facility. Fourth, adult family homes are just regular houses around town in regular neighborhoods, and they are licensed to care for a small number of adults, usually 2 to 6 residents, sometimes 8 or more. And they're fairly common in King County, more so I think than most people realize, and they're often significantly more affordable. And then the 5th category is nursing homes, which are also called skilled nursing facilities, which provide the highest level of ongoing medical care. They're what you need after a major surgery, a serious illness, or when someone requires daily clinical attention. It can go beyond what assisted living people are typically going to be providing you. And each of these serves a different population at a different stage of life, and each one carries a very different price tag. So let's start at the entry level, independent living. In the Seattle area, you're looking at an average starting cost of around $4,500 per month for a 1-bedroom apartment. Depending on the community, a studio might start around $3,700, and a 2-bedroom can run $5,500 a month or more. So what does that include? Most communities bundle meals, housekeeping, transportation, fitness center like a gym, activity programming like bingo nights, movies, and then maintenance of the building as well. So you're not paying for a nurse, but you are paying for a lifestyle and all of your housing costs, and also the community that lives there and supports you. The higher end of independent living, places known as continuing care, retirement communities, sometimes CCCRs, continuing care retirement communities, or sometimes life plan communities. Those work a little bit differently. They require an upfront entry fee, which could be like $100,000, $500,000 or more, in addition to the monthly fee. And what you're buying with that upfront cost is the security of knowing that you can move through levels of care. You might start with independent living, and if you get sicker, you could get assisted living, you could get nursing, maybe your spouse needs something down the road. So you can stay in the community and help yourself to a spectrum of care as your needs change over time. And there are well-known communities of this type here in the Seattle area, including Horizon House on First Hill, which has been operating since 1961, Mirabella, also on First Hill, Hearthstone, which is at Green Lake. And for families where the home sale proceeds represent a significant part of the senior's wealth, this math matters a lot, because $1 million home net of sales commission moving costs might fund 12 to 15 years of independent living at the mid-range cost, assuming that they have no other income. but that's before care needs are factored in. So that's another important thing to consider. Now let's talk about assisted living, and this is where the costs start to climb and where Seattle really diverges from the national picture. So nationally, the median monthly cost of assisted living is around $4,500. In Washington State, it's closer to $6,000, and in Seattle, you're looking at an average somewhere between $6,700 and $7,600 per month. Your mileage may vary as inflation continues, right? But the Seattle Times actually ran a detailed story on this in 2024 and reported that assisted living in the Seattle metro area averages nearly $6,900 a month, which is significantly higher than all but a handful of other major metro areas across the country. A Harvard housing study found that 85% of people 75 plus living alone in the Seattle-Tacoma Bellevue region cannot afford the median cost of assisted living. One thing to look out for here as you're shopping that families don't anticipate is that the base monthly rent is not always the full story, and a lot of communities may charge an additional care fee on top of rent based on the level of support that the resident needs. So someone who needs minimal help, maybe with how they are when they move in, is going to pay the base rent, but if they start needing more and more care, they can add that onto your bill to the tune of $1,000, $2,000 a month or more on top of the base rent. So always ask communities for a full cost breakdown so you know you're comparing apples to apples. Okay, now let's talk about memory care. This is the most specialized and most expensive category of assisted living. And in Seattle, the average monthly cost for memory care runs $10,000 to $11,000 per month because these folks need a lot of supervision. The statewide average is lower, closer to $7,000 a month. Of course, this is a high cost of living area. It's going to be expensive. And the facilities here have secured environments to prevent wandering. They have staff with specialized training, and they have structured programming designed around the specific needs of people with dementia. They might have baby dolls, they might have certain music, they might have pets. They can do different things to try to improve the quality of life of these folks who are having a struggle. But the higher cost is just typically because of the staffing ratios required to run this type of facility. And if you have a loved one in this situation, it's worth knowing that memory care needs to be long term. It's not just a couple months, it's for the rest of their life typically. And it can become more expensive as their dementia progresses. So you really have to plan for a longer runway than you might think financially. I want to highlight adult care homes because I think this is something a lot of people here locally know about, but maybe it can be overlooked as you're shopping for options. And so typically these are in regular houses, maybe a one-level house where everybody who's maybe ambulatory challenged doesn't have to do stairs. Sometimes there's an upstairs or a downstairs apartment where the family lives, who is the primary caretaker and owner of the business, and also there might be some rooms for staff, nursing staff, to come in and do an overnight shift or help out during the day. You might have a room that's just for one person, or they might be larger bedrooms with twin beds that allow for multiple residents to stay in the same room. And they can be licensed for up to 6 as kind of the standard number, standard max. They can get 2 if they have more experience and a good reputation, but it depends on the size of the home. And all of the bedrooms have to be laid out in a certain way. The bathrooms have to be laid out in a certain way. Medications have to be secured. So the constraints of the property sometimes don't allow them to fill it up with too many people. And King County alone has over 1,600 adult family homes with around 9,000 beds, according to the Washington State Department of Social and Health Services. In the Seattle Times, the executive director of the Adult Family Home Council has put together the average cost of about $4,500 to $5,000 a month to stay in an adult family home, which is, I think, significantly lower than most assisted living facilities. And the trade-off is the environment. The adult family homes are smaller, and more intimate. You may prefer that, you may not prefer that. There are going to be a lot of people moving around, but not 80 people, not 100 people. You won't have a fitness center typically or a calendar of activities, but you may have like a quieter family-like setting. You have one-on-one care, people are around, and you're going to just have a smaller, closer knit environment. And these are often the best fit for people who are not very ambulatory, they're not mobile, and they don't need social programming of a larger facility. So they might be kind of permanently in the bed and not needing to get out and have a lot of interaction with folks. And if you do have more complex health situations, this can work very well, but your costs will probably go up with more skilled nursing attention needed. Again, according to the Seattle Times, if cost is a significant constraint, or if a more home-like setting sounds like the right fit, then this is absolutely worth researching. And they do have different styles. Some are for dementia, some are for young adults with brain injury. So they have different setups that you might be able to find something that's sort of customized to your niche. And now let's talk about what to do if you're in a low income or you need subsidized housing options, because obviously not everyone has $1 million house to sell to create equity to fund their retirement home. And not every senior has other sources of significant savings. We all know Medicare doesn't go very far. So the Seattle Housing Authority operates the Seattle Senior Housing Program, which provides affordable apartments at 23 buildings throughout the city, specifically for adults aged 62 and older and for adults with disabilities. And the minimum rents for these apartments start around $340 per month for those who qualify. Of course, that means you can't make very much, you can't have very much. And the catch is that waiting lists for these programs are quite long, and the programs do not offer emergency housing. So the Washington State Bar Association shares that the King County Housing Authority also provides subsidized housing, Section 8 housing, and choice vouchers, which are available through federally financed housing programs for people who are low income and want to be just a regular tenant in a regular property. The tenants end up paying a portion of the rent, maybe 30% of their income, and then Housing Authority will pay the rest. There's also Section 202, which is specifically for seniors 62 and up, which offers below market rents as well. So if you are impoverished and you need help with housing, talking with a social worker, welfare type person is going to be a good next step to get plugged into some of those resources. If you anticipate needing them in the future, maybe the type of thing to start looking at earlier rather than later, especially if you need to get on a waiting list. Now, I want to pause for a minute here. If you're watching this, it's because you or a parent most likely are thinking about selling a home in the Seattle area to fund a move to some sort of senior housing. And that's actually something that I work with families on quite often. The timing of the sale, the amount of the net proceeds, and the planning around where those funds need to go are all interconnected decisions. And if you'd like to talk through that piece of it together, I'll tell you how to reach me at the end of the video. But if you want to go ahead and jump on my calendar, there's a link in the description. You can sign up for a little free consultation, and I look forward to the opportunity to chat with you about your plan. So let's keep going with our next section, which is the math on nursing homes. So a quick note here on nursing homes, because people often confuse them with assisted living. Nursing homes or skilled nursing facilities provide medically intensive, around-the-clock care. And in Washington State, the average monthly cost for a semi-private room is around $12,000 a month. A private room averages $13,500 a month. Elder Life Financial shares that Medicare covers short-term skilled nursing care following a hospitalization under specific conditions. This does not cover long-term care. Medicaid can cover nursing home care for those who qualify financially, but that typically requires spending down most of your assets first. Like, we're going to help you once you're broke. The big picture math on this is worth kind of sitting with and building a plan. If this happens, what are we going to do? So if a senior sells a Seattle area home for $1 million, let's say they net $940,000 after costs. Here's roughly how long that's going to last at different care levels with no other income sources required. So at the mid-range, independent living costs $4,500 per month. You're going to be funded for 17 years. But you might have to live in a different part of the country because remember, Seattle assisted living is going to be closer to $7,000 a month, which will only last for 11 years. And memory care, $10,000 a month, going to last you 7.5 years. Now, most seniors do have Social Security, pension income, or investment accounts of some kind that will offset or supplement these costs to keep you going for longer. But I think this puts in perspective how the money gets eaten up and how planning ahead rather than reacting to a crisis can potentially create a better outcome. It might be worth knowing a lot of these places have waiting lists, so you might want to start interviewing. So here's the main thing I want you to take away from this video. Senior living in Seattle is expensive, and it's more expensive than in other parts of the country. In the range between what you pay at the low end versus the high end is certainly enormous, but options exist at every level, including moving out of state. And the right fit depends on the person, not just the price tag. So if you're at the stage where selling a home is part of the equation, the timing and the structure of that sale could matter a great deal. And if you want to work with someone who understands that and has a good feel for what you are planning for, not just what your house is worth, then if you'd like to have that conversation, the easiest way to book a call with me is through the link at the description below. You can also visit me at my website, homeproassociates.com. And of course, as always, there's no obligation, there's no sales pitch. I'm not going to twist your arm. It's just a conversation about your situation. If you found this helpful, I'd love it if you would subscribe so you don't miss out on the other resources that I publish regularly here on this channel, including Seattle real estate market updates, especially for people in transition. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.